If we clear out the lines, the most spellbinding star I recognize is the star that could shock our sky. Is this one creepy crawly juice or scarab pulverize? It's a red, very giant star, and on the vague possibility that you put it where the sun is, it would reach out to the orbit of Jupiter. It's tremendous, completely whimsical, and going to explode. It's not as clear as it appears to be. In the universe, these giant events, like the most ridiculously feared gigantic starburst, could shake all that we see. Regardless, do whatever it takes not to see its middle. Betelgeuse has been considered to be a red, extremely giant star that is usually more significant than our sun. Brian Cox, along with other space specialists, figures it could go supernova, which has made people frightened. The James Webb Space Telescope is taking shocking of the star, raising the of when Betelgeuse will turn into a supernova and what titanic impact it will have on Earth. Constellation Orion that shines so brightly that even individuals from a long time ago have seen it. The great star Scarab Jew is situated on the eastern shoulder of the heavenly body Orion. It is the second largest star in the star grouping, and its name comes from this feature, the monster shoulder. It is perhaps one of the most brilliant stars in the night sky. On top of being astoundingly brilliant, the star is also an odd shade of red, which, as we will see, suggests trouble. We've had some tremendous experience with bug juice for quite a while. A Greek inspector named TMY also focused on it around that time. The primary thing people recognized about stars was their color and said that it was a total colored orange in variety. Scientists have been focusing on the star much more eagerly of late, and now they have a brilliant idea of what works. One of these qualities is that the star changes splendor a lot, with an obvious size of 0.6. Scarab Jew is a variable star, which means that its splendor changes over time. Recently, trained professionals have found a few new discoveries about the star. In 2019, examiners first saw that insect juice was acting unconventionally. Regardless of the fact that scarab juice didn't completely stop shining, it wasn't the same. It had become significantly less bright, shining at a level of around 1.6. Specialists quickly began to examine why they were seeing the 10th most brilliant star above behave in this capricious manner. They expected to offer a surprising explanation based on their research, which revealed strange signs from the star. As indicated by their discoveries, Betelgeuse could go supernova at any second. Brian Cox, a prominent analyst, shared the strikingly risky explanation. As a distinguished professor of particle physics at the University of Manchester School of Physical Science and Cosmology, you shouldn't take his point of view as a joke. He also has a science show, writes popular science books, and is the Royal Society Professor for Public Engagement with Science. Brian Cox says that creepy crawly juice seems to be a ticking delayed bomb since it could go off without timely notification. To elaborate on the situation, the James Webb Space Telescope has shown an epic amount of evidence to back up this explanation. Anyway, what whimsical signs has Betelgeuse shown that have brought such a lot of hardship in space science? With the new information about Betelgeuse, the star has been named a supernova contender. Despite the fact that specialists are still uncertain when it will explode, the fact that the startling insect juice is twice the mass of the sun is one explanation for this classification. A star, as it's been said, ought to be several times the mass of the sun to be known as a supernova. Things get truly fascinating, however, because inspectors have used different instruments to examine insect juice. For example, the James Webb Space Telescope and the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory have both been used to see what's happening in space around Betelgeuse. What they found is still a mystery. It was brought into the world on August 31st, a really long time ago. Around that time, the star, creepy crawly juice, clearly offered weird hints that made its future muddled. What do they find? Well, they could get curious light waves coming from the star, or rather from bug juice, which is incredibly curious. Anyway, it wasn't the only thing experts saw from the star. This takes us back to the likelihood that Betelgeuse is a star whose brilliance changes now and then. It was said that frightening Betelgeuse dimmed down at ordinary intervals and had dark spots like our sun. Today, however, the circumstances are different. It changes from brilliant to dim twice as fast as it used to, which is another sign that Betelgeuse is behaving in an unusual way. Scientists found that the star's darkening cycle had hit a band of quality of plus 1.61 in February 2021. This was not long after the tremendous darkening event. Recall how the star appeared to faint in a bizarre manner in 2019. That's because it's commonly known as the Great Darkening. Betelgeuse's unusual behavior, which made many people worry that Betelgeuse was going to explode. The range of darkening was 1.2 somewhere between 2019 and 2020, and the most diminished degree of darkening ever recorded was in 2019. So, subject matter experts were certain that Bad Scarab Jew would go supernova in the next 100,000 years as a result of the extreme darkening. There was a portion occurring in the universe, and this is truly frightening. Analysts quickly changed their perspectives, however, when they saw what happened next. Darkening, and it became something even more striking. Astrophysicist Andrea Dupree at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics says that the star is now 150% more brilliant than normal, making it the seventh most brilliant star in the sky. First, it's important to note that not all stars have the red shine of Betelgeuse. The red sparkle of Betelgeuse means that it's a red supergiant star, which is the last phase of a star's life and death. The red gleam, on the other hand, is brought about by a surface temperature of around 3,500 K, which is much cooler than the outer layer of the sun, about 5,500 K. Supergiant already shows that it is almost finished with its life as a star. A star that is dying will also frequently weaken over time, which is something that specialists get anyway. Betelgeuse's new amazing behavior has made experts much more focused. Besides, many telescopes are now focusing on the remarkable darkening. Still, things get much more intriguing since experts don't have a significant understanding of insect. Jew scientists are now using the most cutting-edge gadgets to keep an eye on the captivating things happening around Betelgeuse. The James Webb Space Telescope has been one of the best tools analysts have used so far. Beginning in 2021, the James Webb Space Telescope has been in space and has assisted analysts with acquiring a great deal of significant data about Betelgeuse. The new photographs of Betelgeuse's striking darkening, taken by this telescope, have shown that the event caused a massive mass discharge. Based on new investigation, we now know that this mass launch was around 400 times more significant than a typical coronal mass ejection. The James Webb Space Telescope can also look at things that our eyes can't see, like light waves and frequencies. This is why scientists are excited about what the telescope will find. Analysts have seen dust, mists forming on the star surface that appear to look like leaves in space. That doesn't seem to make sense, but in spite of the fact that Betelgeuse will die, specialists are still paying special attention to it, since they don't know when it will go supernova. NASA scientists believe that Betelgeuse is considerably more significant than the Sun, and that the bright red star will shine for the next 10 years. Anyway, assuming we check the many curious things happening with the star, it's challenging to say if this explanation will still be valid after the unprecedented darkening. So, experts try not to guess that Betelgeuse will explode anytime soon. If creepy, crawly Jew detonates, it will be the first supernova we've seen for ourselves since Johannes Kepler observed one in 1604. Experts also don't believe this will happen soon because they're still focusing on the star's unusual behavior. If we separate the universe without bias, very possibly one of the most captivating stars and maybe the most surprising in our sky is Betelgeuse, commonly referred to as Betelgeuse. This red beast star, whenever set where the sun is, would stretch out to Jupiter's orbit. This unimaginably gigantic, temperamental star is on the edge of an impact. The universe doesn't work in such direct terms. Peculiar, enormous events like supernovae have the potential to totally disturb our perspective and idea that may likely occur. Anyway, while the chance of Betelgeuse going supernova looms, researchers are still working to understand the exact timeline of its downfall. As analysts continue to gather information from the most progressive space telescopes, such as the James Webb Space Telescope and the Hubble Space Telescope, they remain cautious about predicting an inevitable blast. Regardless of the star's strange behavior, including the secret of darkening and lighting up cycles. There's no guarantee about when Betelgeuse will eventually reach the end of its life. Some hypothesize that it may still require thousands of years before the star explodes, but others believe it might happen much earlier, potentially within the next couple of years or even months.